welcome back to Seeing Blind. Today I've got a great interviewee with me today, and she has developed a wonderful, accessible product. You guys know I'm all about accessibility and sharing great tips, tricks, products, and finds that just help make everyone's life easier and more accessible. Before we get started though, remember, do me a favor, hit that like and the subscribe button as well so you can catch more future content like this on Seeing Blind. And I so appreciate comments, questions, all that good jazz down below as well. But let's go ahead and jump right into it today. And I'm going to introduce to you Miss Victoria Watts.
Hi, Cindy. Nice to be here today. I'm excited to come on and talk about TouchTags by Cyrus, a new product that we are launching late summer of this year. Back in about 2018, after learning that my son Cyrus was born blind, I didn't really know much about blindness at that time, but after learning, the many barriers that exist in society for people with low vision, one of which is packaging accessibility, I set out to create a solution to address that issue so that packaging could be accessible for everyone. And I created a solution called the Cyrus system of raised universal symbols. And I wanted to make that system available to people, to consumers directly who need that assistance. And that is what inspired TouchTags by Cyrus, which is what we will be launching this summer in a few months.
Yes, I'm so excited, and I'm going to show you guys some examples of what this is here in just a second. But just to recap, so this is a actual physical product, and it's being launched in summer of 2023, right?
Correct.
So June, July, somewhere around in there?
Yes, I would say, but definitely by the end of summer.
Is there a website? Is that how people will be able to order?
Yes, they will be available at touchtags.Co. And you can go there now to sign up and subscribe to get the latest updates on the product launch.
That's great. So I'm going to tell you guys real quick what it is we're talking about. I'm holding up a sheet. It's kind of like cardstock type of paper, but it has these raised tactile adhesives on them. And can you walk us through how these are used?
Absolutely. So the touch tag sheet that you're holding has a set of 9 of our Cyrus symbols, and each of the symbols represent a specific product category. So essentially, you would just remove the tag and apply it to whatever product you're currently using. So for instance, the face wash symbol, which is the first symbol there, which is a outline of a circle with a vertical line down the center. That is our symbol for face wash. So you would just peel it off and apply it to whatever current face wash you're using so that you can identify that product through touch.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I have some examples here when I get samples of things, because I usually will, I like to try new products and things like that. And if you notice, especially in skincare lines, a lot of the product packaging is very similar, very, very similar. And it's really difficult to keep them separate, and it's easy to get your products confused. So for example, I have a sample of this is sort of my night cream. It's just like I don't know, it's like a sample size. And then I have some sunscreen moisturizer. So I have the touch tag just on the top here, if you guys can see that. And they're just, yeah, you can feel, and they're large enough. They're much larger than the Braille cell. So you don't have to, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about this is you don't have to, be familiar with Braille. You don't have to, have this ultra sense of touch developed to be able to use this system. So I've got the moisturizer tag on my moisturizer. I have an eye cream that's got the eye cream touch tag on it. And it's just really made identifying all of these little bitty tiny, samples that they're round. It's very easy to get them confused. And I just love that this allows me to keep them all separate and identify easily which one I'm trying to grab for.
Yeah, that's great. Now it's a very simple system that everybody can use. Even for me as a sighted person, I can't go in the shower without my contacts in because I can't see what I'm grabbing. I can't wash my face in the morning without putting my contacts in. So in designing this system, I designed it in such a way that most people can benefit from this, because this is a problem that a lot of people deal with in varying degrees. So it was just a matter of creating a solution to, that everybody could benefit from, because at the end of the day, accessibility truly benefits everyone.
Exactly. And when you get onto concepts like this that really become more of a universal design, it doesn't just benefit the blind community, it can benefit any and everyone. Like you said, when you take your contacts out, if you get soap in your eyes,
Mhm.
if you have a migraine one day, or whatever the case may be, allergies, you name it, this just makes identifying your products so much easier. And
Mhm.
you don't have to fumble, where are my readers, where are my glasses? I hear my mom say that all the time. What, I gotta get my readers, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So what is the vision? Where do you see the ultimate goal for touch tags with Cyrus?
Well, the inspiration behind developing the touch tags was to be able, so I created the Cyrus system first, and spent a couple years designing it alongside the low vision community, to really understand the challenges and needs they face, so that I could develop the most highly effective system to address those needs. And I determined that by combining a tactile symbol with an embossed QR code, I could in fact make a product fully accessible, from identifying it through touch, but also the product information digitally accessible. The system is combining the tactile symbol with an embossed QR code on a package. That, by combining those two, you can make the package accessible. And QR codes
Yeah.
are on a lot of packaging, but most times they're not embossed, so it makes it extremely difficult for somebody who with low vision to locate them. And that
Yes.
is why we made that part of the system, because the product information also should be digitally accessible for anyone. And in doing that, I realized, wow, what a better product experience for me. I can
Yes.
barely read the fine print on packaging. I have to squint, put it really close. Being able to scan a QR code and have all of that information in an audio file, or even if it's linked to a website, that is screen reader accessible, that's fine too. Really just made a better product experience across the board.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
after developing this system, I was thinking, okay, I need to make this available to the people that need it the most. And how can I do this in the best and most affordable way, which was the inspiration for touch tags.
Amazing.
And yeah, and if you'll notice on the sheet that you were holding up, that there is an embossed QR code in the middle, and when you scan that QR code,
Oh,
it
yeah.
gives you audible instructions on how to use the sheet, how the sheet is laid out, and also just audio description of each of the symbols for the
That
low vision user.
That is amazing. Yes, I am touching the QR code that is in the center of the page, and it's the first time I've ever felt a QR code. I mean, my mind is blown right now.
And again, in developing the touch tags, it was also very important to work along the low vision community as I designed the sheets. So the layout of the sheet was done with purpose. There's also a tactile bar at the top of the sheet to orientate the top from the bottom. So if somebody with low vision takes it out of the sleeve and it gets turned upside down, goes to scan the
Oh,
QR code, then the instructions aren't going to make sense. So really trying
yes.
to address every feature, as well as around each tag, you'll feel a raised dots around each tag. And that was done to serve as a tactile guide to guide the user to where the tag is, so that they could
Oh,
peel it and apply it to their product. So really tried to make these touch tag sheets as accessible as possible, for, to accommodate the low vision user.
so, now I have not tried this on like my for example, shampoo bottle, conditioner bottle, are they, how are they going to stand up to various environments and moisture and things like that?
Well, they're fully waterproof, durable, so they do as long as you apply it to a clean, dry surface, obviously, when you're first applying it, it will,
Hmm.
stand it's completely waterproof in the shower.
Amazing. This is just one sheet, right? There are other kind of SKUs, there are other different touch tags for different categories within the home. Is that correct?
So we will be launching three touch tag kits. One is skincare, which is what you currently we are currently talking about. The second one is for self-care, which is just daily hygiene, your shampoo, your conditioner, your body wash, deodorant, toothpaste, things like that. And then we have home care, which is for cleaning and laundry. And those are the 3 packs that we are going to launch with, but we will be launching more. The Cyrus library consists of over 50 symbols currently, over 9 categories.
The goal is for these to be adopted universally, or
Yes.
I should say internationally. Is that the
Yeah,
goal?
the goal is to establish the Cyrus system as a universal tactile language for packaging. When we all speak the same language, barriers are removed. And that's how this works. By creating a universal symbol system, you know, that spans across, every product, every face oil has the same symbol. That's how that works, and that's how it makes the product, accessible for everyone to use.
Yeah. I love it. So let's dive into the background. Cyrus, is that the name of your son? Is that sort of this whole kind of brainchild started?
Yes, yes, absolutely. It was the inspiration behind creating the Cyrus system. It's also an anagram for raise universal symbols. So it was great to be able to tie it back to my son, as because he was the reason I developed it in the first place.
Yeah. So how old is he again?
He's almost 7 years old. He'll be 7 in a few weeks. And yeah,
Okay.
we've obviously have introduced it to Cyrus, and he's starting to learn it. It's on every product in my house has touch tags on it currently. So he's starting to learn the language. And yeah, he's not the best tester because he's a child, but
Right.
that's why I decided to work alongside the low vision community in developing this. I wish it was Cyrus, but he's a child. But yeah,
Right.
he's learning the language.
Yes. And I really love that you've also, you didn't just develop this, with your own assumptions. You really did tie it in and go to the low vision blind community. So how did you do that? And what was your process there and getting their feedback on board as you developed this?
Yeah, so back in 2018, when I, realized, wow, packaging is such a huge barrier for people with low vision, and there currently wasn't a solution available, and I set out to create it. I knew enough that I need to work alongside the low vision community, because what I think may be a great idea, it may not be addressing their needs, because I am a sighted person. So I began working with the Lighthouse organization in Collier County, where I was living at the time in Florida, and just to really understand and talk with them and understand, what are your challenges? What is it like? What would you like to see as I'm developing this system? And it was really valuable, because even from like the QR code piece, embossing the QR code, understanding that the low vision community depend on QR codes and barcodes to scan them for information, that was one piece. But then hearing from the community, well, that's great, but half the time we can't find them because they're not raised, and it's very difficult. And I thought, okay, well, I would have never have thought of that. So yes, that makes total sense. So it was really valuable to work alongside them, because I feel like there's so many companies or brands that perhaps want to be inclusive of this community, but don't take the time to speak with them and really understand the needs, to provide a solution that actually works and reaches this audience.
Yes. And I think too, we've spoken a lot about the low vision and blind community, but I can really see a lot of our senior citizen community really benefiting from this as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in developing this system, I knew that for this to become a universal language, for this to become, a standard on packaging, hopefully someday, this needed to reach a very broad audience because this audience is usually like typically looked at as a niche audience, right? So I knew going into this that I needed to create a system that had benefits for a much broader audience, in order for it to, become a universal language and to also become, eventually a requirement or a standardization on packaging. So that was very important that it had benefits for most of us. And by using the 7 principles of universal design, I was able to design a system that reaches a much, much, much broader audience than just the low vision community.
Absolutely. And is there any other community that you think could benefit from this system as well?
Yeah, absolutely. People with dyslexia, people with
Ooh,
foreign language speakers. We have a lot of foreign language speakers here in our country, and the same would apply if you're traveling to another country. In the aging population, as you said, I mean, it's the largest it's ever been. And really, the reality here is that vision loss is a spectrum, right? And
right.
most of us are impacted with vision loss. And if we're not impacted today, the likelihood of it impacting us at some point in our life is very likely. So this is a problem that's getting bigger. The audience is getting bigger and something that absolutely needs to be addressed. And the Cyrus system is a very simple, intuitive way to make packaging accessible for everyone and, a better product experience across the board.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I also really love that whole elimination of language. How many times have we been to an a hotel, for example, or something like that? And if the products, especially if you're traveling abroad, if they're in a complete different language,
Mhm.
I mean, even if you're sighted, even if you can read the packaging, you may still have no clue what in the world you're holding in your hand. And so, yeah, I mean, would this would just really be great if packaging could include this. So would products, if they integrated this into their packaging, would it be a sticker, or could they integrate the raised tactile like coating system, the Cyrus system, into the actual like plastic packaging type of containers? How would that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Cyrus can be implemented through it's called custom tooling, custom molds that can be integrated directly into your products. That's what I actually did on my skincare line, which I used as a proof of concept to introduce Cyrus system in 2020. So that can be done. And the touch tags can also be applied, or they can even be included as an insert in the product carton so that a consumer that needs that assistance has the option to apply that to their product for its instant identification.
Yeah, so they could take that insert and put it on the product. And so really,
Correct.
they can control where they put it as well. If
Exactly.
they want to put
Hmm.
it on the top, on the side, on the bottom, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And so knowing that, like, sure, the whole concept here is really for it to be a universal system where literally each tag represents a specific type of product or category, if you will. But with like you said, Cyrus, he's 7 or getting ready to turn 7. I have a 5 and 7-year-old, and though they are sighted, there's lots of kids out there with disabilities that
Hmm.
easily this could be adopted to help them identify toys or objects in their environment,
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. But I feel like there's so many different angles and ways that you could take this concept and this system and apply it in so
Hmm.
many different creative ways to meet each person's needs.
Yes, absolutely. And you think about too, like product safety when you're talking about kids. Picking
Yes.
up the wrong product and accidentally putting it on your face or putting it in your eyes or ingesting it. That's a huge concern too. I mean, it's obviously a very big challenge for the low vision community, but to your point, kids that can't read yet or struggle with reading, or anybody really that struggles with reading, this can benefit them as well.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that. And too, I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, we haven't even talked about medications. I mean,
Food.
I know there's the whole like script, prescription app and things that really helps you identify. But, if you don't have a smartphone, see,
Mhm.
I feel like, in a way, that's the caveat to all these apps and
Mhm.
technologies out there. Sometimes it's really good to strip all of that out and go back to the basics, simple concepts like this, because what if I've lost my phone or it's not on hand, or I next thing you know,
Mhm.
I've got to go on the hunt for that. And instead of just like any other able-bodied person picking up the item and knowing exactly, having a way to identify it immediately without having to
Mhm.
depend on technology. And that's the beauty, I feel like, of
Mhm.
this system.
Technology is wonderful. It's a wonderful tool, and it's great that we have all of these amazing assistive technology applications out there. However, technology isn't always 100% reliable. Not
Right,
everybody can afford to have smartphones, like you had said.
right,
And technology will not and does not replace touch. And touch
exactly.
is so important for the low vision community. And what are you going to bring your phone in the shower with you? No, of course not. So really, by combining tactile and technology is really like the best combination. But having that touch element is just so important. And technology is not going to replace that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we've all experienced those moments when technology goes wrong or it just fails us in some way. And so yeah, this is just one of those fail-proof concepts. You can't go wrong with it. So I well done, Victoria. Well done. This serves a need, and it is, like you said, it's universal. It's not just for the disabled community, but it's for the non-disabled community too. It really can fulfill a need that many people have across the board. So I well done indeed. And thank you, Cyrus, for inspiring your mom to
Yes.
create such a well-needed and well-designed concept and idea. And I applaud you as a stay-at-home mom. You have 4 kids.
I
Is that
do.
right?
I do. 4
I mean,
kids.
let me tell you, if there is a better example of a mom that has 4 kids, who's done it all and has been able to completely see the design it, execute it beautifully, and include the right audience to help give that feedback and include them in part of the process, that's when beautiful things are done. I cannot applaud you more. I mean, that's what being a good, strong entrepreneurial woman is about.
Well,
So
thank you, Cindy.
and I can't wait to see what else comes out of the whole Cyrus coding system and touch tags, and where this goes 10 years from now comes
And
out
this
of
needs
the.
to be adopted across all CPG categories. This isn't like specifically a problem for beauty or personal care. It's a problem with all product packaging. And that is really the goal here,
Yes.
is to eventually develop it across. And through collaborations with brands and industry leaders and whoever wants to be involved in doing this. I never set out to do it myself, the entire thing
Mm,
by myself, but I needed to start it, and I need to show the world what it is, why I developed it, why it works, and why it is needed to become a requirement on packaging. So I welcome anybody, that any brand or any company that wants to be involved in creating this tactile language that will be used for generations to come, and that's going to improve the lives of so many people.
yes, yes. So, Victoria, how can people get a hold of you? How can they reach out to you with opportunities or just to purchase this stuff?
Well, to learn more information on the Cyrus system, you can go to cyrussystem.com, and there's a contact form if you want to reach out if you're interested in whether it's you're interested in having your brand Cyrus certified or you want to join the movement and a collaboration. You can contact me there. And then, of course, you can go to TouchTags.co to sign up for the latest news on our launch updates.
Okay. And of course, guys, I'm going to make sure I put all of her information and website in the description box down below. So you're welcome to expand the description box and I'll put easy clickable links there. Thank you so much, Victoria, for joining me on this interview and introducing this great product that's going to be coming to everyone's doorstep in the summer of 2023. And guys, remember, you can always advocate for this too. Contact your brands and help them. You can request this. Hey, can you please include this on the packaging? Sometimes squeaky wheels get the most attention. Advocacy, it doesn't just start with people like Victoria who are creating products like this to fulfill a need, but getting people to understand they have to speak up and say, yes, I have this need. Please implement this. All right, that's it for me, my friends. I'll catch you in the next video. Blessings to you and yours.